Well, I said, hello down there. Hello down there.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, my name is Fred Stewart, and welcome to Haunts, Graves, and Omens. With me, as always, my lovely co-host.
It's me, Taylor. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so tired.
Hi, Tay. Good to see you.
I've been awake since 5:30 this morning.
nah.
Actually, 5. And then I fell asleep for about 5 minutes, and then I had to leave again.
You hate to see it. Waking up at an average time like the rest of us. But with us, joining us in the studio, in his HGO debut, it's Bill Bernard.
Hey, yes, that is me, Mr. Bill.
Mr.
Having
Bill.
fun doing it all under the sun.
Mr. Bill sounds like a guy who keeps porcelain dolls in his basement. The
I might have a couple of dolls, but I only break those out during the holidays.
What?
That's cool.
Like yeah, you know, like Halloween, maybe Christmas or something.
I thought you were going to say like Flag Day, but it's...
When is Flag Day?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's a made-up holiday anyway.
Now he's got to know so he can break out the dolls, I guess.
Break out the dolls for Flag Day. I do have a story before we continue our main story of this week.
Oh, fuck. I didn't look at stories.
That's fine. I have a big one for you. So I don't know if you guys have heard the whole Annabelle incident that has occurred.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Where
have been hearing about
the one of the members who was like married to one of the Warren family ended up like doing a huge tour with Annabelle, and he kind of died, and it was kind of mysterious death, but he ended up being like a heart attack or something along those lines. Well, good news for those who are paranormally enthused. Comedian Matt Rife buys Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum, the house that houses Annabelle from the Conjuring franchise. That's right, Matt Rife owns the Warren's haunted museum now.
That is...
I'm gonna not say anything. I'm not saying anything.
Me personally, I feel like that's kind of tempting fate if you're going to go and buy something like that and you don't even know anything about it.
That guy just died too.
Yeah, like let it simmer down a little bit before you jump right into a hot purchase like that.
Yeah.
No, apparently not.
In a statement on his Instagram, Matt says, "I've officially purchased Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum, home and occult museum, including being the legal guardian of at least for the next 5 years of the entire haunted collection, including the Annabelle doll, with my good friend Elton Castell. If you know me, I'm obsessed with the paranormal and all things haunted. You may know the Conjuring films are my favorite scary movies of all time. I'm incredibly honored to have taken over the prominent properties in paranormal history."
Oh, yes, because the Conjuring movies are just like having the real museum.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. I forgot that, they're exactly the same.
Well, for me to think that you're going to purchase something legendary like that, like I see that you've got the Jaws patch right there.
I do.
That would be like me buying an actual set prop from Jaws and then going out by Martha's Vineyard and thinking, I can handle a big great white. This is just going to come naturally to me.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
The one thing about this that really kind of is very strange is because like before I ever told jokes, like I was interested in the paranormal and had done paranormal investigations. I'm not saying that Matt hasn't done that, but I've definitely put way more time into being a paranormal investigator. So the fact that a comedian now who's gonna for sure make fun of that doll, and it's just gonna come back to haunt him literally. Speaking of which, let's turn on our K2 to see if Chester decides to communicate today. See if I can do this. Yeah, nobody cut. Everybody look at me all weird.
We're just watching.
Don't look at me.
Except for the dog. The dog is dead asleep. The dog doesn't care what you're doing, though. She just sleeping.
Yep, she is sleeping.
Hardcore.
Well, yeah, I just thought that was an insane turn of events. Like that guy just died, and they're like, Matt Rife's like, let me buy that shit real quick, dude.
I just know that he's gonna try and touch the doll. I know it's gonna happen.
Would you touch the doll where he touched you?
Would you touch me? Touch me on the stitches.
I have a very good feeling that he's like gonna just to like make a bit out of it.
Oh yeah,
it's
he's gonna be like, nothing's gonna happen, and he's gonna fucking something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah.
like I just
Yeah, it's kind of like Charlie Sheen owning a rehab. Like, it just seems like a kind of
a bad idea.
crazy thing to own.
I don't know. I just
Where are the drugs? If you find them, give them to me.
Yeah, exactly that.
that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's
a bad idea.
It's a very bad idea. Well, this week, Bill, for you, I wrote this episode strictly for you. This week,
For me?
for you. This week, we travel to the Old West for some good old rootin' and tootin', gunslinging. A story about a man who would have a kill count of 21 people by the time he himself was 21, as the legend goes. This is the infamous and chaotic story of Henry McCarty, a.k.a. Billy the Kid.
Gang, gang.
Gang. Yeah. That's one thing that Billy Kid always said.
Yeah.
He said, reach for the sky. Gang, gang.
Of course.
Y'all ready to get into it?
Yes,
I'm ready.
I am ready.
All
I'm ready.
right.
Let's do it.
So the story of Billy the Kid is one of the most jarring and strange things I've ever had the privilege of writing about. Even with the hours of countless interviews, witness testimonies, books, and documentaries, I have no fucking idea what is real and what isn't.
Okay, that's a great place to start.
So before we begin the story, I must fully preference that this is just a collection of a lot of information as I know it. We're not professional documentarians, as some might claim.
No, he claims that we're not professional.
Yeah, well,
We should be.
no shit. Yeah, the one thing that I wanted to talk about before we really dived into the story was that when I was researching this, like I said, I watched a lot of documentaries. Just due to the time, I was listening to audiobooks, right? And I was like, oh, I'll go and listen to an audiobook of Billy the Kid because, you know, that's a great way to kind of get the information stirring into my head. And I turned on the first one and it was like, you know, the story of Billy the Kid, narrated by like Marshall Smith. And it's like, okay, sounds kind of nice. And then when Billy was a boy,
Oh,
and I was like, I'm not doing this for 8 hours.
yeah, that's
So
committing to
I
character right
immediately
there.
change it to it's like the true story of Billy the Kid, narrated by Randy Johnson. It's like, ooh, yeah. When Billy was a boy, it was like, there's no fucking. Every single one I found was like that. Every single one had somebody doing a character, and I just could not do it.
I feel like
Fucking weird.
I feel like it's because every single person wants to feel like they're actually there and not just like, you know, living in Lincoln, Nebraska in 2025. And it's not the high noon anymore. They're just more so concerned about, well, I can't get high at noon. I need to go to work right now.
Well, I mean, if you're this just kind of goes out to anybody who's going to be narrating the next Billy the Kid book. If you want to get more into character, just get fucking dysentery. That sounds way easier. So,
Anywhere to strike it big on the Oregon Trail.
so the story of Billy the Kid is surrounded in a cloud of mystery and gunsmoke. While it is unknown exactly when Billy was born, it is speculated that he was either born in September or November of 1859 to two Irish immigrants, Patrick and Catherine McCarty. But even that seems to be debated. The further we go down this tale, you'll see a lot of confusing speculation regarding Billy the Kid or Henry McCarty or his other fucking aliases. But what is known is that he was born in New York City. It is speculated that while in New York City, that Billy's father died. Probably from getting hit by a falling piano or getting kicked by a mule so hard he shit his pants and died. But experts believe that the family traveled from Indiana or from New York to Indiana to Kansas, Colorado, and finally New Mexico. And by this point, Billy was around 14 years old. So on March 1st, 1873, Catherine McCarty remarries William Antrim in Santa Fe, New Mexico. But by this time, Catherine had developed the Old West's second biggest killer to the Winchester repeater, tuberculosis. And before long, the family settles in Silver City, New Mexico, hoping to take advantages of the local mining operations and the time-honored tradition of dying alone in a hole in the dark. I was really proud of that joke.
That's a pretty good joke. I like that
I
one.
sat at my desk just cackling to myself in the middle of the night. Silver City, New Mexico, around this time, as you might imagine, was like most boom towns of its era. It wasn't exactly a fun vacation spot. I mean, this town is filled up with drunk miners, like it's the beaches of Epstein Island or Pitied Basement.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
There was going to be another joke there, but I decided to cut it. That was actually way worse.
Oh my God.
What I'm trying to say is that Silver City was violent.
Okay. Okay.
Fighting in the streets, men shot over a game of cards. And Silver City wasn't exactly a great place to grow up, like most boom towns in the West at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. We think of all these kind of comical kind of westerns and things like one of my favorites is the Sharpshooter. One of my favorite Western movies of all time, right? But like you see all these stories, or of the characters, and they're kind of walking into a dusty town. And they're like, "Hey there, partner, have you seen my horse? He was drinking at this bar an hour ago." And then it's whatever. But like really in the West, it was way more violent. It was just like people getting gunned down in the street. And the sheriff was like, "What happened?" It's like, "Well, beat him again in cards, and he started whipping me, so I shot him." And he's like, "All right, throw him in the pit." And they would just bury people when they died. They would just drag them next to the building, dig a hole, and put them in there.
That's
It's easier.
crazy.
It's easier.
For me, like one of my things is it's like that's like the end of life. What was the beginning of life? Like tell me what it was like being a child born into that world, because that must have been wildly crazy.
Well, from what I can understand is that, obviously people like Billy obviously moves from New York City,
Right.
Say around like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And New York City around, the 1800s was still a very large city.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I just imagine you go, it'd be like the equivalent of like being here in Portland.
Yeah.
And then you go to, I don't know, Yuma, Arizona. That seems about it.
Okay.
We're just like, you're like,
that's a change.
you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like people live here on purpose. That's like all of Arizona, but it's a lot like that. It's very jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then not only that, but his mom's dying of tuberculosis. His stepdad fucking hates him.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for a pop punk album if I've ever heard it. And he just kind of shows up into town, and literally people are getting like shot in the streets. They're fighting. They're like, sheriff's like, "Oh, old fucking John over there stole a horse, gotta hang him." They're just doing that. But that was kind of around that time of they were just people would go in mass to go see this.
Yeah.
So I imagine they got pretty normal pretty fast. But continue. Catherine did her best to raise Billy well. She was well liked, strong-willed, and even opened an esteemed boarding house. Meanwhile, William Atrim, Billy's stepfather, was known as a recluse and absent. The man had spent a lot of time in a hole with a bunch of guys.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it sounds very damp. And in typical stepdad fashion, William did not have any love for Billy.
Oh.
Billy, on the other hand, was going to school, was making a lot of friends, considered a nice boy all around. He was a nice boy.
Nice boy.
That's what a lot of people said about him. He was a nice boy. Just kind of, and this is like back in the day where they had like 40, 50 kids in like a single room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
It's like standing room only to do, their ABCs. And they were like,
arithmetic.
yeah, well, they'd get to like, their T's and shit, and they couldn't get past that. They were like, "You're going to the mines."
You go to the mines.
Like, all right.
We know where you're going.
Yeah, I'll go work on Miles, my grandpappy. He's 25, so I think that'll be all
The
right.
rap age of 25.
Yeah, he's only expected to live for about another 5 to 6 years anyway. Billy did not, skipped a little bit here. Just a year following their arrival in Silver City, Catherine McCarty dies of her illness after being confined to bed for months. And they did do like a newspaper obituary of this, and it wasn't like traditional obituaries as you think now, where they're like, Catherine McCarty died of the age of 45, being surrounded by loved ones.
Yeah.
Like her soul is in peace. No, it was like she was in her bed for months and then died a very bad death. And it's like, it's not very comforting at all.
No.
There's no information about her funeral or nothing. Just like, yeah, she fucking died.
She dead.
Yeah, it was. I read that and I was like, okay, it's the old West. Not a lot to write about back then. Once Catherine passed, William, seeing no further need to continue his care for Billy, promptly headed off to California, leaving Billy to his own devices in Silver City at the age of 15.
That's
So,
always a good plan.
yep.
A good recipe for a heartwarming and loving story.
Yeah, it's a great start. With nowhere to go and having no one to look after him, Billy began to roam the streets of Silver City, basically becoming a little tyrant, always causing problem everywhere he went. Like I said, Silver City isn't exactly known for its kindness around this time, especially to that of an orphan who was known for being a bit rough.
Okay.
You know, he would just like kind of just wouldn't do anything super malicious. He would just kind of fuck around and like be like, "Oh, your clothes are on your clothesline," and he would just go take them off and go throw them in the bushes, like shit like that.
Oh,
Just being a little shit.
some men want to watch the world burn. I can definitely say that. And I was getting ready to say it sounds like he'd have a great Batman-like origin story, perhaps, as he embraces the darkness and the bats.
Well, we'll definitely get to the 21 deaths that are attributed to him by the age of 21, which, let me tell you, this story, it starts off pretty slow. At least for this aspect of it. It's like we're continuing on. Once we reach pretty much the next few paragraphs, it's going to be like pretty much constant chaos.
Okay.
Billy did end up moving into a boarding house around this time, run by a Miss Sarah Brown, as she, was kind of knew his mother and was looking after him. But no one would expect, excuse me, Billy, but as no one would really expect this, right? But Billy ends up falling into the wrong crowd of people, right? No one's looking after him.
I'm shocked.
And it's
Shocked that happened.
Shocked that happened.
Yeah, we're all incredibly shocked. And instead of smoking pot and listening to ICP and doing crimes, Billy was sober, started doing crimes. So
it's the formula of success. If you want to succeed, you got to be sober.
We're all putting me, you're both drinking. Professional podcasters. 66.6 HGO radio. And by 1875, Billy had committed his first robbery. While less of a robbery and more so of an Old West, ain't no one using it. So, acting as a lookout for his boarding house mate, George Schaefer, the teenage rascals stole a Chinese man's laundry and 2 pistols.
Oh,
Shit, that's not close at all. Like in terms of things
No, I mean, it's
to
also
steal.
it's also the Old West. People were just kind of handing out guns. Like literally.
Yeah, but
there's
I
multiple cases of the story where people were just like, "You want a gun?" And he's like, "Yeah."
I just like how
give
they're
him
like
just give him a gun.
they
What a
stole
time to be alive.
his laundry and 2 of his guns, but we're more concerned about the laundry aspect.
Well, the laundry becomes important because that's how he ends up getting caught. As thinking that their grand heist was the most badass thing they could have done, the boys headed back to their hideout, the boarding house.
okay.
And it did not take long for someone to go into Billy's room, find the clothes stuffed under the bed. It was like pretty quick because everybody knew who he was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would imagine if you're not like used to like wearing some like True Religion jeans or something like that, and you're just like over here in some like 25-year-old Gap jeans, there might be a gap between what you can afford and what you done stole.
Yeah, they never expect the treasure to be under the bed.
He's just in Jenkos.
Yeah, Jacobs. Yeah. Yeah. One thing that was kind of was interesting about this is one of the key things that I did watch over and over again, which I must credit, is Young Guns documentary from 1986. highly recommend if you want to watch a very fascinating documentary about Billy the Kid. But you're watching this podcast, so
Yeah.
watch this instead. And one of the historians uses a lot of very dated language in that. And so when he was talking about the man from China who got his clothes stolen, he just kept saying the word Chinaman over and over again, and it made me, I was just like, all right. Meanwhile, the other guy was like, yeah, he came from China and they just kind of stole stuff from him.
Yeah,
but the other guy would made a real point to put that pin on the map.
Yeah.
Great.
I was gonna say, usually anytime that you hear that or of the Orient or something like that, it's like, okay, we're sitting down for another story with Grandpa.
Yeah, usually.
But since Billy was a rapscallion, he became friends with the sheriff's son, naturally. Because what are the two most fucking, in a small town, the two most biggest shitbags that exist? It's the sheriff's son and the preacher's son.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Always those two. And naturally, the sheriff obviously knows Billy because him and his son are fucking around and doing all this other crazy stuff. And so the sheriff, he just kind of goes like, all right, Billy, like, you got to be taught a lesson. All right. Like, this isn't a big deal, but we're going to treat it like a big deal. Right.
Yeah.
And so he arrests Billy for larceny and sends him off to the jail. And he's only meant to be there for like a night. It's supposed to be just like it's gone scared straight kind of incident. Like, you're going to sit in this dark cell until I come back in the morning. Like, you hear? And he's like, all right. And then the moment he leaves, so the sheriff goes to leave. He locks him inside the jailhouse, right? And he doesn't even lock him in the jail. He just locks him inside the jailhouse, right?
Yeah.
Just like, you're going to be here by yourself.
No.
You're going to be whatever. That was one of the first mistake of many.
I would say so.
As he arrives the next morning, he comes in and Billy is just gone.
Okay.
Door's still locked. Now, you're probably thinking that it was a daring move where he traded the jailhouse dog for a slice of meat for a key that was holding in its mouth like in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yep.
No. It was way more dumb than that. Billy thinking that he's going to hang for his crime of larceny.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah.
He is scared and he's alone and he's like, you know what? Like, I've decided that I'm going to just go ahead and shimmy up the chimney.
Shimmy up the chimney.
Impossible Michelin like style, just full shimmies up the chimney.
Yeah.
Which would become the first of many escapes of that almost exact way. A lot of people shimmying up chimneys in this story. But yeah, he just kind of does that, gets up on the roof, jumps down, and just heads off into the desert.
Okay.
Just leaves. So with his new life as a fugitive, Billy decides that it probably wasn't wise to stay in Silver City and travels 500 miles in the New Mexico desert alone. Now, there's a lot of guesswork on what actually happens next, but what is known is Billy goes and finds his stepfather, Billy Matrim.
Okay.
He finds him as he's on his way to California. In some stories, Atrim gives Billy some cash, a pat on the back, and says, get out of here, kid. In other stories, Billy steals some clothes and a couple guns, and Atrim kicks him out, which I think is probably a lot more likely.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Billy travels west to where dreams go to die, Arizona.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As it would turn out for our outlaw, Arizona was like Disneyland if you're a criminal, and not much has changed. With sorry. With plenty of cattle to be rustled and various saloons to immerse himself in, and miles upon miles of sand, Billy finally found his people. Drunk and stinky.
Oh, hey, those are the best kind of people.
Yeah, literally, like, what the historians talk about him arriving in, like, in Arizona, and he shows up to some fucking desert town, and he's just like, wow, and he's all excited. And meanwhile, like, all the photos of people like leaning against poles under the shade, like, please fucking kill me, please kill me.
I wanted to share this because it happened only so recently. I was driving home yesterday, and I just happened to be going on Barber Boulevard, and I saw this naked homeless man who was bottomless, not topless, bottomless.
Winnie the Poohing it?
Yeah, well, he was looking for his honey because I kid you not, just like the joke I always say, homeboy had a real piece of meat on him. And he was just playing with it, just having a grand old time, just strolling on the street. And I just was like, wow, just to be that free. Like, I think I was
to be that free.
Yeah, he was just so happy. There's full traffic too, but like, yeah, man, I can only imagine that Billy was happy to see the Arizona people, and I was happy to see that homeless man just going to his home, finding his honey, Winnie the Pooh. This one goes out to you.
Yeah, I hope he's listening. But Billy, as he arrives in Arizona, he's around the area of like Camp Grant. He quickly goes back to his ways of being a fucking problem for everybody and starts to steal saddles and horses from soldiers in the Camp Grant, Arizona. You know, and so he's just kind of going up in like middle of the night, middle of the day, noon, post lunch, pre-lunch, brunch, and just starts just starts like just taking shit and selling
Brunch
it.
before it was brunch.
Yeah, like hee-haw, partner. During this time, Billy took up some jobs on local ranches in the area. It is on one of these ranches that Billy would now earn his notorious nickname, the Kid, which was a common nickname given to juvenile delinquents at the time.
Okay.
So they were just like, "Hey, kid," because he's just fucking around, like trying to steal shit. Or come get a job. So law enforcement in the area often tried to capture Billy for cattle rustling, but he was able to escape pretty much every time. You know, you would see the lawman coming over the hill or whatever, turn his horse around, go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
are we shocked that maybe the old-timey police weren't very good at their jobs half the time?
oh, don't worry, it's gonna get a lot worse.
Great.
Yeah. So
Sounds good.
yeah, he would basically escape law enforcement every time, and then he would kind of add another notch on his belt. What would be a really long fucking belt if it had this many crimes.
Yeah.
Like, really long. But eventually, he was captured and arrested twice for cattle rustling. But it was the Old West, and things were kind of looked differently than they are today.
Yeah.
Right? With security being spotty at best and the law not really wanting to deal with it, surprise, surprise, they would kind of just let him go.
Okay.
They literally were like, they basically go like, well, there's going to be someone else's problem now, because most of the time people would just like leave town after that, right? They go like, okay, well, I probably shouldn't stay here because now they're on my, kind of watching me.
Right.
But he just stayed and just kept getting arrested. And the reason that they kept releasing him is because it's fucking expensive to like keep someone in jail. Like even now in the modern age, it's pretty expensive to keep people in jail. But back then, there's not like a continuous, there's like a Walmart down the road you can go to and like pick up some steaks or whatever. Like you had to wait until like the O'Leary brothers come down, off their pasture and they're like, oh, here's your fucking cow for the month or whatever. So they would just be like, it's too much of a pain in the ass. Just leave. Please leave.
God. I'm just thinking to myself, like, what is the threshold of the crimes where they're like, okay, you have been in here 20 times, but you've never killed anybody, so we can't get rid of you. But by God, I wish I could take your arm off or something.
He like cattle wrestling and stuff like that. He got arrested for a couple times, but like you gotta understand that around this time he's still a kid. Like
So I understand
they're
that.
just kind of like whatever. But for those who like steal horses and shit, that's a fucking death sentence.
Okay.
What's the guy down in San Diego that got hung for that? What's his name?
You're asking the wrong person. I know what you're talking about. I do not know a name. Bad at names, first of all. Second of all, I'm on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I ain't remembering shit.
So, but yeah, there was a guy down in like El Campo Santo that his famous story is him getting hung for a horse.
He was hung.
Not hung as a horse, but hung for a horse.
Oh, that was a great callback.
Professional comedian Fred Stewart.
The gallows is what makes up the like living room of the Whaley house or whatever. Like it was.
Yeah, it was one of those guys. Oh,
it was that guy.
I don't know. Go listen to our episode that we've done about the Whaley house. It's in there somewhere. Let's see. Where was I? There's some words that I was reading. Oh yeah, even with all this, Billy's life wasn't too bad, to be honest. He was having a lot of fun stealing cattle, playing cards at the saloon, which was what I imagine every old Western looks like. You know, you come in, sit at a poker table, the cattle rustler, the thief, the gunslinger, the sheriff, a dog, a baby, a horse with sunglasses on, 3 raccoons in a trench coat and a cowboy hat, all smoking cigars and betting on what has the better hand. It was the horse.
No, that was good. That was
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Thank you.
Professional documentarian.
Professional
right here.
documentarian Fred Stewart. In March of 1877, should I do that in character? In March of 1877. No, that's too much.
now
Please
it's
don't.
now it's a Billy the Kid episode. Now it's one.
Billy was arrested with his gang's leader John R. Mackey after they had stole 3 horses belonging to soldiers in the area. Despite being shackled, I'm not doing this anymore. Billy and
Thank
Mackey
fucking God.
made another daring escape into the night. Now you're probably wondering, how did they escape this time? Was it the dog again? Did they wait until the guards got close enough and held a revolver to his belly and said, "Give me the keys, lawman"? No, they they just waited until the guards went to a local dance and then they just kind of broke out and left. It's as dumb as you think it is.
Wow.
Oh my God.
The Old West is dumb.
Sometimes it just works that way.
It's just stupid. The door's unlocked. Like they just walked out. They're like, "All right, you boys don't go anywhere, all right? I'm gonna go dance with old Bethel." And they leave and they're like, "All right."
So anyways, we're leaving, right?
Yeah, they just walked out.
That's fucking crazy.
It's so fucking stupid.
What the fuck is happening?
The story only gets more dumb.
I
But
just don't get it.
Billy's life of petty crime was about to change on the night of August 17th, 1877. The fresh-faced 18-year-old Billy brazenly strolls into a saloon just outside of Camp Grant, Arizona, which is where he had escaped just months prior, right?
Okay.
Just looking forward to a night of booze, cigars, and poker, Billy sits down and starts to play his hand. And it's during this poker game that the local bully named Francis Cahill, also known as Windy Cahill,
Okay.
proceeds to exchange some insults to Billy. And they're kind of have a shouting match back and forth, right? You know, just like Windy is known to be a fucking asshole. Like no one likes Windy, right?
Okay.
But people kind of like the kid because he's just kind of fun. He's just, he's very lighthearted. He's a really good talker. He's very charismatic. Everybody likes him.
Yeah.
And at the time, he was described as being very handsome.
Ooh.
And
So
he is not.
Oh.
And he's no, he's no like, who's the guy who played Superman? What's his name?
Clark Kent?
No.
No, that was good. That was good. I can't think of who the new one is. I mean,
Henry Cavill.
Oh, you're thinking
Yes.
the older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Older.
he's no like Henry Cavill. He's just, but like all the photos I see of him, he's just kind of like cross-eyed and like he's just kind of fucked up a little bit.
he's locked in.
Yeah.
Locked in.
His later on, his lover just like because there's only like 2 photos of Billy the Kid,
Okay.
like ever.
Okay.
And his lover later on, like after he had died, was like, she's like, I always hated that photo because he just looks like shit. But anyway, they're having this shout match back and forth, and Windy ends up starts calling Billy some names. He calls him a pimp and a son of a bitch.
Oh.
Pimp and a son of a bitch.
Yeah, like son of a bitch, totally Western. I totally get that. Be like, you son of a bitch, and then they start like, start doing whatever. But like,
Wrestling.
you're like, oh, you pimp. Like, thanks, G. But after some back and forth, Windy decides that he was going to show this boy who's boss, and starts to push. And he goes up and just fucking pushes Billy to the ground, sits on his chest, and just starts to slap the ever living shit out of him. He just sit on his chest going wham, 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 wham. It's just like front hand, backhand, front.
Gracious.
And he's not like beating him up, but
Yeah.
he's just slapping. He's embarrassing him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during this struggle or beat down, slap fight, whatever. Anyways, during the course of them rolling around on the floor, Billy is able to get his arm free.
Okay.
Reaches down, frees his pistol, points it basically point blank at Windy, and rips off a round directly into his stomach.
Oh,
Just
shit.
fucking boom, like point blank.
Yeah.
In a panic, Billy fucking throws Windy off of him, gets up, runs out the door, steals a horse immediately.
Oh, good.
This time it's a racehorse, and he fucking just hauls ass in the
Take
Mexican
off.
desert. He's
Ooh,
just gone
yeah.
Yeah.
before
That'll
anybody has
do.
time to react. The following day, Wendy did the old excuse me. The following day, Wendy did the old West beloved pastime of just dying. So
Okay,
he just does that. Like he just immediately just dies the next day. And with this, Billy the Kid is now a true outlaw.
Okay.
No longer just a horse thief, but a murdering horse thief. But the bigger question is, was it even murder? Right? See, at the time, people getting shot in a saloon wasn't exactly uncommon in the Old West.
Yeah.
You got to remember that Billy didn't just like shoot Wendy Cahill unprompted like a fucking Lincoln assassination. Just to walk up behind him was like boom and then ran out.
Yeah.
He was getting attacked. And while it wasn't exactly a life-threatening beating,
Sure.
then he shot him, right?
Yeah.
It's subjective.
It's almost
subjective.
more just like self-defense.
Some experts believe in their own opinion that Billy would have probably just been acquitted of murder altogether. And but with his hasty retreat and his theft, Billy was, committed to a life on the run now, right?
Right.
Even if in reality he was probably fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he at the end of the day, he was a kid, Billy the Kid, and
The look in the camera is so funny. Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid,
Because it reminds me of the no bitches meme. No bitches.
and like the thing is, it's like in a panic. What's that line that Jimmy Neutron's dad says in the heat of passion, Jimbo? All things can happen. Like that.
Oh
like,
my God.
That's what I'm thinking there.
I don't know, dude.
He just got a little scrappy, and he was like, well, shot that dude. I'm just trying to get the hell out of here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much how I look at it. Is he's never killed anyone before. He's maybe killed. I mean, he definitely killed some animals and stuff. Like he was very proficient in living, like in the middle of nowhere for the most part.
Sure.
Like living in the fucking woods and
Yeah.
hunting. So I'm sure like that was whatever. I mean, that's how the Old West always was. But
Right.
you just shot a guy for the first time, which we'll have add another 20 plus onto that.
Yeah.
Right.
But he just fucking panicked. Like, what do you do? Do you just sit there and just like cry? And then you're like, you look even more like a pussy,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you just had a guy pull you from a chair, sit on your chest, and just slap you over and over again. Like,
That's so fucking weird.
it's just so funny. But yeah, so Wendy Cahill's dead. After eluding his lack of pursuers, Billy headed south to Silver City, New Mexico. Sound familiar? And eventually linked up with the Jesse Evans gang, known as the Boys.
Da boys.
The Boys.
Boys.
Like, I just imagine if his mom was still alive and sending letters like, oh, Henry, I hope you're having fun. What are you doing in New Mexico? And he's like, hanging out with the boys, ma.
We get rowdy.
We're getting rowdy, but we're getting fucking crushing.
He's reverted. He said he's from New York, so he's just reverted back to a New York accent.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you fucking loser. I wanted to ask if first of all, before I ask what our gang name's going to be, what's your guys' cowboy names?
I don't know.
Bill? Improv time.
I'm not good at improv. Leave me out of this one.
Bill the adult.
Holy shit.
Oh God.
That might be the best cowboy name I've ever heard in my entire life.
Bill the adult. I like that.
I'd be like, I'd have to definitely go by Freddy. So like Freddy Five Fingers, really good at stealing. Ooh, that's a good cowboy name. Taylor, go, you got it.
No, I
Improv
don't.
time. Got
I
it.
don't. I can't do improv.
Go.
I can't do improv, especially on 4 hours of sleep. If you think of one for me, I will run with it, and that will just be my name forever.
Taylor not prepared Showland.
I'm gonna fucking lose my marbles. I'm not prepared. I'm exhausted.
Anyways, the boys end up linking up together, right? And they travel down to El Paso, Texas.
El Paso.
Yep. Where they stopped at every restaurant they came across and said the words, chalk it up, which is the polite way of saying, get fucked, we're not paying for anything.
Oh, yeah.
They would roll in like 8 deep. And these guys are like, Billy is the odd man out. He's the rook, you know, so he's the new guy. But all these guys are like legit fucking killers.
Okay.
Like legit killers. Have like fucking at least 10 plus to their belts already. And they just literally sit down in a saloon somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere in Texas. And then they're like, oh, you know, it's like, can I get a steak or whatever? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, that'll be $2. And you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
No.
And then they're like, you're going to pay. And then they would just put their fucking gun on the table and they're like, I'm not going to pay. And they're like, okay. Like, that's what they did.
Wow.
So Billy very quickly went from being with his friends and kind of just
hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, well, moved from being with his friends, stealing clothes, to learning how to cattle rustle, started doing that, which was like, ooh, it's going to learn, to fucking killing a guy, and then just being like, yeah, now we're just going to basically just rob people, like, of their fucking livelihoods.
That's crazy.
During this time in the gang, the now rough and tough Billy had to prove himself time and time again against his band of murderous drunken thieves, since members of the Jesse Evans gang were known for their wild and brazen acts. Billy had to kind of adapt and shape into a larger-than-life character that we know today.
Yep.
More senior members of the Jesse Evans gang would often shoot the hat off Billy's head, and what I can imagine is just as funny as I think it is.
That sounds fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just imagine of like him being like, pew! Like his hat falls off, and he's like, come on, guys, I'm just trying to wear my hat. Puts it on, and he's like, come on. They just keep doing it. They're just like shooting fucking. It's like, it's so insane.
That seems terrifying.
Yeah. Like, oh man, not again. He's got a bunch of fucking holes in his hat. He rides into town. They're like, why's your hat fucked up? And he's like, oh, I knew you guys would say something about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's like, all right, give me your hat, chalk it up.
What is the attrition rate in the wild west of people in the gang if you're over here shooting hats off? Because like I'd be thinking there's a lot of people missing chunks of their head.
Well, that's old head hole in the head William over there.
Hole in the head William.
It's like, how do you get that name? It's like, well, we got drunk on the fire one night. We're out there near Grant, Arizona, and trying to do the age-old thing of shooting the hat off each other's head. You guys know, right? Shooting the hat off each other. Yeah. Turns out, we're all taking turns, and then fucking blind Drew over here was like, my turn.
My turn.
Turns out giving a blind guy a gun and him to shoot a target is not a good idea. But Billy's life is often left in mystery, as he didn't exactly keep a dream journal during his time, like in his travels, right? It would be very funny if he did. Billy just like, today I saw a cow. Today I also saw another cow.
There was a cow in the water that I saw. That was pretty cool. My hat got shot off like 6 times today. I think I need a new hat. He didn't just do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he didn't. He did end up. He was actually very proficient and started writing a lot of letters later on. But as Billy does his travels, he arrives in Lincoln, New Mexico, in the fall of 1877. Billy is no longer a boy with a gun, but a proficient gunman, and a fucking damn good one. So good that the residents of the town were highly impressed by not only his rifle skills, because he was showing off right away, but as also his six-shooter skills as well. One resident named Frank P. Coe remarked in his first impressions of the kid, as he called him, stating, he was a fine shot with a rifle, but he could also take 2 pistols, one in each hand, fingers between the trigger and the guard, and spin them in opposite directions at the same time. So he's just doing crazy gun tricks with his pistols. Yeah. It's like, that's awesome. That's dope. That's so sick. And not only that, like I said before, he's extremely charismatic. So he kind of rides into town. He's with a gang of literally murderous thieves, and then there's this one guy's like, "Hi, well they call me Billy the Kid," and they're like, "All right, maybe these guys will be all right." He's like, "What's up, cool?" And starts spinning his guns around. They're like, Oh, these guys are kind of sick, dude. Let's keep these guys around for a little bit. I like these guys.
I think we can keep the boys around.
Yeah, it was just a true testament of like Billy's proficiency with weapons by this point. Like, I mean, you got to think of like all the travel time of them just sitting at fires or sitting in the middle of the desert, middle of the night, and then just like, you're not, you can't just doom scroll on fucking TikTok, so you got to do something. So you just start spinning a gun around. Which I can imagine when he first started, like, having some accidental discharges by doing that. Just spinning a gun around, just firing off rounds. I don't know. I don't know if they're double action, if they're single action. I didn't ask.
Usually when I'm spinning, I have to stop myself from accidental discharges.
Boo.
I'm trying over here.
Oh, Bill, looking at your chart here, you're saying you have a problem with accidental discharges? Is that correct?
Being 30 plus isn't easy.
Have you tried... Now, Bill, this might be a little strange for. Okay. Have you tried using a gun?
No, I have not tried using a gun, but it would be exciting, and I'm sure I wouldn't have to use pills to find excitement in my life if I was wielding guns on my hip.
That dating profile would go crazy. Must like guns, mandatory. See, Jesus Christ. See, but the him being proficient in guns was going to play a big point in this story naturally. Mm-hmm. See, like the town of Lincoln wasn't exactly having the best time as it was like locked in a fierce power struggle at the time when the gang arrived. L.G. Murphy and Jimmy Dolan, basically the man who ran the largest building in town, that being a general merchandise store, were battling against some upstart competitor that had made it into their town. That robbed like Murphy and Dolan. That rubbed Murphy and Dolan like the wrong way, since the store was the store for the people who wanted to trade, buy, or sell, and they did not want to share with anyone else.
Okay.
It's bad for business, as one might imagine. Like, yeah. And looking at photos of their store, it's big. Like, it's a huge general merchandise store. It is the place when you're crossing through that territory that, like, you want to trade something, but trade some pelts. That's where you go. That is it.
So it's like the Cabela's of like the area.
Yeah, it's like a Cabela's opens up and then a Bass Pro Shop opens up next door.
Oh my God, that's dope.
Yeah,
it's like the big triangle Bass Pro Shop.
Oh yes, I think that's in Tennessee. I think they have that somewhere.
It's like the third largest pyramid in the world.
Yes, something like that.
Insane.
Yeah,
so stupid.
People are like, "Well, it's not a real pyramid because it's not a tomb." You don't know that.
Yeah,
we don't know who's buried in the Bass Pro.
How many bodies are?
75 people died just building this building. You don't understand what it took.
How do you think the foundation stays together?
Show me the bodies, Bass Pro Shop.
Wow.
That was good. That's going to sell.
Wow, yeah. It's a very show me the bodies Garth kind of vibe. I love that.
That's what I went for.
We got our own. We're coming for you, Bass Pro. Please don't. I really enjoy like going to your store and looking at old fish. So does Taylor. It's the best part about going to Bass Pro Shop is I can just sit her in front of that tank and go do my shopping for hours, and she will never move an inch.
I will move because
You want to get closer to the glass?
No, I have the attention span of a goldfish. So I will be moving, and you will not find me. Somehow I'm on the 30-second level of the Bass Pro Shop.
In a store full of camouflage, I would hope. Right?
I found myself a ghillie suit and I'm just hiding somewhere.
But it's like the whole thing was like, the pair, Dolan and Murphy, like they controlled everyone in the town, basically saying, we'll tell you who gets to buy what, sell what, trade what, and if you don't like it, then good luck to you. Like that was how they were. They were not very nice individuals, as we'll find out. And who dare
Who there?
Who dare challenge Murphy and Dolan's grip on this very dusty town? Well, that would be none other than Englishman John Tunstall and his partner Alex McSween, who opened up their general store in the same town. Yes. And John Tunstall, people described him like in town. They were like, he had a very funny accent.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he just can't. He's just from like Great Britain.
Yeah. Well, like I'm imagining like some people probably have never seen somebody who is from England in that neck of the woods, and they're like, well, how the hell did you get here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe their great grandpappy saw him.
Yeah,
but that's about it. I mean, unless you're in a major city on the fucking on the East Coast.
Nope.
Like you're not. I mean, you're not expecting some dude from like Yorkshire showing up. We're like, oh, bro, just looking to see. It's more Australian, which would be way funnier. Yeah, just looking to set up. Yeah, just want to fucking see what's going on in here. But he's like, I just want to see if there's a place I can set my general merchandise store. And they're like, you sound funny, mister.
Have a spot of Earl Grey tea.
Give the Grey Poupon. Gotta really force that character. The Australian is really creeping up.
No, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot.
Like every time I do a British accent, I have to do David Attenborough. Otherwise, it just becomes Australian. I can't do like any other fucking person from the UK, dude. I can't do it. I can't do it, Tay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can't just
like my name was Fred Stewart, and I'm with Haunts, Graves, and Omens.
You're not gonna do like what's the like bruv accent?
Oh, bruv, yeah, bruv, fucking come out here, bruv, yeah, yeah, come on here. And, yeah, see, then this one I start going like, you fucking.
That makes me think
you're starting to verge into the Wild Thornberry.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What was that kid's name? Donnie?
Flea? Yeah, Donnie.
Oh yeah, it was Flea that did the voice, right? And then Donnie.
I think so. Yeah.
Fucking Donnie. Yeah.
And that makes me think of that. What was that guy from Thor? The one that was like supposed to be like modeled after like some like New Zealand farmer.
Oh yeah, I forget his name. I'm talking about the big rock guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marvel nerds. I don't remember his name. They're gonna
big
yell at me. Yeah. Like yeah, bro. Anyway,
I don't know.
Getting off topic. I like to imagine that they directly set up across the street, just kind of glaring at each other through the windows when they set up this other general store. Just so like Cowboy comes in like, y'all match coupons? Like,
I'm trying to find a bargain.
Yeah, I'm like, I was hoping, I went across the way and they said they do saddles for $10, but I was hoping to get it for $7. Just naturally, the parties didn't get along, but the ever-brazen Tunstall gave Jimmy Dolan some sharp words and expected that to be that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of around that time, and especially because it comes from the UK, of just being like, all right, bro, fuck you, like, get out of here, whatever. And they're just like, all right, that's it. But there's the old West. People just fucking kill each other. Like, they don't like one another. Eventually, sorry, I'm getting lost here. But Tunstall didn't know that Dolan had a creative way of dealing with the abrasive Brit, as you will. He basically did the Old West saying of like, I'm just going to shoot the bastard, which is like very effective. It's a very yee-haw, if you will.
Yeah.
Very yee-haw indeed. Yeah, the business.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna give him the business, then you shoot him with a fucking 38 off his horse. Like, that'll really show him. Meanwhile, Billy was just kind of scooting around Lincoln and eventually comes across Tunstall, right? And having like no idea of the ongoing power struggle in the area, Billy very quickly accepts an offer from Tunstall to join him on his ranch, as Tunstall needed a cowboy that was good with a gun. And Billy was, he had his gang with him. He was like, can I bring my friends? And Tunstall was like, yeah, oh. And brought a bunch of his friends with him. And they started working on Tunstall's ranch. And this is like one of the first times in Billy's life where he's like kind of going kind of straight and narrow. He just he's just working for this guy. He's getting paid good. He's got lodging, you know?
Yeah.
And everything is going really good. Over the following year, Tunstall takes Billy under his wing. The outlaw, goes straight, and there's no more crimes as he's just working for Tunstall, who's really taken a really liking to him. This is the first time in a long time that Tunstall Billy finally has like someone who cares about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these other outlaws, they don't fucking give a shit about Billy. There's like, he's just a guy on the crew.
Right.
Yeah.
And eventually, Tunstall even buys gifts for Billy. He gives him a horse and a brand new Winchester rifle.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Which is probably like one of the first times in Billy's life that someone has like given him a gift.
Yeah.
Let alone treated him with any kindness in a very long time.
Sure.
And like, so they kind of just have this, they're not that far in different age, but he kind of looks up to him like a big brother.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, oh, my brother sounds a little different, but that's my brother. My brother has a big head, so but it would seem that Billy had finally found a place where he could just exist without being in fear of being rejected, right?
Right.
All the while, Billy was working for Tunstall. The growing feud of the rival businesses was festering into a deep and growing hatred.
Okay, yeah.
Which was, excuse me.
That wasn't me.
Was that me?
That was you.
The sound off on this. Sounds off.
Apparently not on notifications, because my phone is on Do Not Disturb.
This guy. Well,
my phone stays on Do Not Disturb. I don't need none of it.
Sounds off. Anyway, as on February 18th, 1878, Tunstall, Billy, and a few others, possibly being that of the Jesse Evans gang, consisting of James Dolan, Billy Matthews, Jesse Evans, and Buckshot Bill, which I imagine is a very fun bluegrass band.
Nope, that's my cowboy name. Buckshot Bill.
Yeah, who I swear to God aren't members of a gay cowboy porn.
I shoot a wide load.
Are moving horses into town to sell at market, right? Until they are surrounded by Sheriff Brady's deputies, who were incredibly loyal to the Murphy Dolan side of their feud. So it's like Sheriff Brady is on the back, so they surround this crew, right? Stating that they have a warrant for Tunstall. Billy quickly tells Tunstall, like, "Hey man, you gotta get out of here. Like, just flee."
Yeah.
Because he's done this before, right?
Right.
As Billy himself starts to just leave, he's just like, "I'm fucking leaving. Like, I'm not doing this." Tunstall, being the ever brave but naive businessman, seems to think that he can just kind of reason with the deputies, as I'm sure he is very confused on what his charges are, right?
Yeah.
Because he's just been running a business. So Tunstall turns his horse and slowly rides up to the deputies. But as he does, someone in the group says, "Wait until he gets close." Once Tunstall is just a few feet away from the deputies, somebody reaches down, grabs the repeater rifle, and fires a single round into his chest, causing him to fall off his horse onto the ground.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think that would happen.
Yeah.
I definitely think that would happen.
As Tunstall lay bleeding, another deputy gets off his horse, walks up over him, stands next to him, points his pistol, and blows his brains out. Just executes him. Boom.
Jesus.
Okay.
That quick.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't bad enough, because it's pretty bad,
Yeah.
someone in the group walks up to Tunstall's horse that Tunstall knowingly loves, fucking kills the horse, shoots in the head, kills it, as a final fuck you to Tunstall.
God.
Jesus.
Yeah. And this is the law. Mind you. This isn't the outlaws.
Yeah.
But they are outlaws.
That's crazy.
This cold-blooded murder that would be the spark that ignited the powder keg that would be known as the Lincoln County War, which would leave the desolate and beautiful New Mexican landscape soaked in blood of outlaws and crooked lawmen. This is where the story really takes a fucking turn in a major way. The night following the murder, Alex McSween, who was Tunstall's, his business partner, rallies all of Tunstall's allies, venging retribution for his friend's death. Under the order of the Justice of the Peace, John Wilson, a group of men led by Tunstall's foreman, Dick Brewer, I swear to God, were deputized.
Okay.
Dick Brew.
Does Dick Brew have a mustache? He has to. I feel like he's got to have a big old Wilford Brumley diabetes mustache.
I don't think that he does, but there's some other characters that I'll talk about that do have some really fantastic mustaches. But Brewer was joined by many others, such as Charlie Beaudry. I think Brewer did have a mustache. Charlie Beaudry does not. Doc Sherlock, who has a fucking crazy awesome mustache.
Doc Sherlock.
Skurlock.
Skurlock.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like
Such a cool
Doc
name.
Ock from Spider-Man.
Such a fucking cool name. Yeah, so he's joined. So Brewer, the kid, Charles Beaudry, Doc Skurlock, Tom LaFolliard, and George Coe, and then obviously, like I said before, Billy the Kid. They all rally together and they're like, well, they were, they were all ready to go kill the man who took. So Billy, and Billy the Kid, who was ready to kill the men who took his one chance at a normal life away from him.
Right.
Being paid $4 a day, the newly deputized men will be known as the Regulators.
Wait.
Regulators?
The regulators?
Regulators.
Oh my God. I knew he was gangster.
Yeah, because the whole thing was that they're going to go regulate the law.
Oh, hell yeah.
So sick. It's such a cool name.
Motherfucking gang.
Yeah. So he's been in 2 gangs so far. Jesse Evans' gang, which is also a good cowboy name.
Yeah.
And then the Regulators. And their entire thing that I'll get to is just like, we're just here to hunt down these fuckers. That's all they care about. By the way, $4 a day in 1878 was about $128 a day.
That's
But you got to think, for a beer back then, it's like a penny.
okay. Yeah. That's like
Cost of living was a lot different back then. I promise you
They
that.
were like 5 cents back then for a beer.
Yeah.
So $128 a day is insane in 1870.
Okay.
I mean, it's still kind of light, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, it's light in modern days, but back then, you have $128, dude. You could like own the town.
No. I mean, if you got solid money, you got solid money.
You got solid money. While the men who killed Tunstall did have arrest warrants, these warrants were more so treated like hunting licenses. As the age-old quote goes, "Forgiveness is for my enemies, and God, I'm just here to arrange the meeting." And boy, did the Regulators live up to this mentality.
Ooh.
The Regulators headed out of Lincoln, and on March 1st, discovered 2 of the posse members they were looking for, Frank Baker and Buck Morton, which is another fucking great cowboy name.
Every name was great back then.
Yeah.
So good. Buck Morton is such a cool name. But they captured these guys. They surround them with their horses, and they're like, stick them up, right? And they tie him up, and Billy had to be restrained because he was like, I'm going to fucking kill him. Like, I'm going to kill him. Like, and they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And Brewer is like, we're going to do this by the book if we're going to do this, right? And, we're going to take him to jail, and we're going to hang him, as is what we're supposed to be doing. And they load them off the horses, and at some point they get to an area in the desert, and they just drop them into the sand and go, you know what, fuck it, and then just execute them, just boom, boom, that quick. That area is now known as Dead Man's Canyon.
Oh.
Fitting.
It's very, very fitting. It is unknown who actually killed Baker and Morton, but we can probably make an educated guess. But Billy finally was able to scratch off 2 names off of his kill list.
Oh my
And
God.
there would be many, many more to follow.
Yeah, I'm getting like very much like John Wick vibes from this, like in a very big way.
It's exactly John Wick vibes. Yeah, like this. I mean, he's like he's like 19. Maybe 20 by this point. But probably around like 18, maybe still 18, almost 19. And he's just like he's going full John Wick. He's like, and I believe I talk about it in here, but there at some point before they left, Billy had a moment to himself that they all kind of went and visited Tunstall's grave.
Yeah.
And in the wind, somebody heard Billy, like, he stood over Tunstall's grave and was like, I'm gonna kill every single one of them. Like he just was like he was ready, dude. He was
fucking respect,
dude.
bro.
It's so gangster. He's like
John Wicking.
dude. He's for real John Wicking everyone. And he. I mean, Billy. We'll get to it. He gets a little fucked up later on, but that doesn't stop him. He just he just refuses to die. It's pretty incredible. Lost my place here. Don't mind me. Somebody vamp.
You got it. You do it.
Me.
You do it. You vamp. You're better at it.
So, that's a compliment.
It is.
So I guess like one of the stories that I can say is like going through Kansas, because that's where I had lived for about 10 years. Really, I'd say the only place that I think remotely resembles what it must have been like back in the day is like, like going out to like Ness City. If you know where I'm talking about, like that's like close to Dodge City, the whole entire southwestern part of Kansas. I don't really know much of it, and there's not a whole heck of a lot there because I mainly stuck to I-70, avoid Topeka. It's like most capital cities. And, I'd either go to like Lawrence or Manhattan where I lived, and then Wichita.
Should they move the Chargers football team to Dodge City so they can be the Dodge Chargers?
The Dodge Chargers. Oh my God, that'd be dope. Like the real shit though. There is so much talk between Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, because they keep trying to throw around the Chiefs and the Royals and all of that. Because like over by Kansas City, Kansas, you got the Legends, which is like this gigantic shopping plaza. They've got the Raceway there. They've got all of these casinos and stuff. Actually, the most money I've ever won is at the one that's like right next to the Raceway.
Nice.
Shout out there. I love going to you guys. But real shit. Yeah, no, the Dodge Chargers. I think that'd be pretty dope. I actually saw like whatever the coupe one is that everybody hates. I'd buy that. I'd buy that because those are like I think like $27,000 now.
I don't know, but meanwhile,
back into it.
Yeah, back in Lincoln, Samuel Beach, the New Mexico governor, visits the town after he's alerted to the possible mayhem that was about to occur. Not even aware of the deaths of the former deputies at the time because they're still rotting in the middle of the desert.
Okay.
But he is just trying to quell the potential violence. Beach cancels Squire Wilson's appointment of the Justice of the Peace, which effectively turns the regulators into outlaws.
Okay.
Like, you guys are no longer deputies, you guys are just outlaws. But even the regulators don't care. They're like, we're still just gonna kill all these guys. Like, there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
They with nothing to lose but everything to gain, the regulators didn't slow down much. As on April 1st, Sheriff Brady and his deputy George Hinman are walking down the street of Lincoln, right? Side by side. They're kind of walking over like the little patio sections, right? And the regulators are sitting in Tunston's former corral, which is in town. Has this like brick wall, adobe wall kind of thing. They pop up on the wall and start ripping rounds off, and they gun down Sheriff Brady and his deputy. And Sheriff Brady gets hit. He, falls to the ground, and he apparently, from the story goes, is he sits up and he goes, "Oh God, I've been shot," before like a fucking mountain of gunfire goes off and kills him. Oh my God. Which is another Old West way of dying. Obviously, he gets shot and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And just like, like just immediately comes out. They're like, "Oh, he's not dead. Keep shooting him."
I mean, like definitely. I know that the bullets and everything back in the day were not rifled, and it was like all.
Well, they were on this time.
Oh, well, okay, no, they were at this time, but like I know that like they always would just be like doing this, that, and the other, like shooting them off. But like my personal thing that I take issue with is how they always depict like in movies, like what's gonna stop what. If someone's like shooting off a Kalashnikov at you and you're like driving like a H.G.O. Metro, that shit's going through.
It's going through.
That's not gonna stop anything.
A Geo Metro is made with sheet metal and hopes and dreams.
Just pretty much. Like, there's no way that's gonna just not be an issue.
No. And I mean, also the fact, like, you know, they're just walking down the street, and they to be fair, they shot these guys in the back, right?
Okay.
But also, they're on the kill list, so it's like, whatever.
Right.
These guys are scumbags. Everybody here in the story is a scumbag. But with the sheriff dead and his deputy dead, dead and buried, our outlaws travel to a place known as a Blazer's Mill. 3 days following the death of the sheriff, Buckshot Roberts tracks down the regulators, and so begins another shootout. You're gonna be hearing that saying quite a bit. He basically comes in, finds these guys, and Buckshot Bill shoots Dick Brewer right between the eyes.
Oh, shit.
Just immediately, boom, kills him, turns. George Coe comes in, fires off a round, and actually blows George Coe's trigger finger off with a bullet. So George Coe's out. And then old Buckshot Roberts is then gunned down by the rest of the regulators at this time, as they had amassed a team around 60 men. So he comes in just like boom, boom, and then just turns, and there's 60 people, 60 people standing there, and they're just like, and just laser him.
I have to say this because I'd be remiss if I don't. At some point in time, is Warren G and Nate Dogg gonna show up for Regulate? Is this gonna happen at any point in time?
You say that, but Tupac is in this story somewhere.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, but ironically, Dick Brewer and Buckshot Roberts would be eventually buried side by side, because I imagine they did not want to dig another hole.
Okay. I just thought the bromance was that deep.
No, they just, I mean, they got to think it's the Mexico desert. It's hot. And they're like,
sure.
Like, oh, I don't wanna. So they're like, I don't wanna. And they're like,
I should have had him dig it before I had plugged him.
Yeah. In May of 1878, the territorial governor, once again Samuel Beach Axtell, felt that this whole kerfuffle in Lincoln County was getting a little out of hand. He delivered this following proclamation, which I find quite funny. Proclamation by the governor for the information of all citizens of Lincoln County. I do hereby make this public proclamation. First, John N. Copeland, Esquire, appointed sheriff by the county commissioners, having failed for more than 30 days to file his bond as collector of taxes, is hereby removed from office of sheriff, and have pre-appointed George W. Pepin, Esquire, sheriff of Lincoln County. Second, I command all men and bodies of men who now under arms and traveling about the county to disarm and return to their homes and their usual pursuits, as so long as the present sheriff has authority to call upon the U.S. troops for assistance, not to act as a sheriff's posse. And in conclusion, I urge upon all good citizens to submit to the law, remembering that violence begets violence, and that they who take the sword shall perish by the sword. In other words, everybody stop fighting and make me look really bad.
Wow.
I genuinely thought when you said George W. that you were going to say Bush, and I was like, I think this story's a little too old for him.
I can't do a George W. Bush impression, otherwise I would right now.
You can't do one?
I don't think so. I can do most modern presidents. I don't think I can do George W. Bush. I haven't practiced. Sorry. Bill?
Can you do a George?
Oh man, Bush? No. I feel like I probably have at some point in time, but like for me, like I'd have to hear a phrase he said other than like mission accomplished. Like
fool me once, shame on you.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Fool me twice, shame on you again.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah.
Like, citizens of Lincoln County, This is way more southern. I gotta squint really hard to do it. Like,
He's got that kind of accent that kind of like borders into southern.
Yeah,
though.
Texas. Just like really go at like old Texas gentlemen.
Sheriff Joe Biden. Well, when I become sheriff, the thing is about the law.
Unfortunately, they're very similar. So I feel like since you can do a Joe Biden, you can absolutely do a George W.
I don't
Bush.
know. I can do a lot of fucking dumb voices, but I don't think I can do that. I just now all I can think of is Joe Biden as sheriff, and then like accepting the thing as sheriff, and then Trump comes in. And he's like, "I'll be the deputy. I've always been the deputy. I'll be the best deputy."
Oh my god.
And somewhere in the back, there's Jesse Ventura being like, "The reptilians are controlling my brainwaves." Can't believe that guy was in charge of a state. But no one seemed to listen to Axtel's less than convincing proclamation, as you might imagine.
Of course.
2 months following the less than convincing words of Axtel, the regulators are back in Lincoln in what would be another historic gun battle. And by this point, I just want to mention that the governor, Axtel, is now on the president's radar, which wasn't a good deal because like the president, there's so much shit happening in Lincoln that it traveled from the desert to Washington, D.C. And he's like, "What's the governor doing about it?" He's like, "Oh, he wrote a fucking letter and a paper." And is like, interesting. But I'll get to that a little bit later because it's actually a key point in the story of why that's a big problem.
All right.
So on July 15th, 1878, James Dolan and Sheriff George Pepin and about 40 men surrounded McSween's home, where about 60 regulators are held up. Over the next 5 days, the men shot back and forth until the sheriff followed through with Axtel's threat and called upon the U.S. Army cavalry and infantry.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
he got 6 stars.
He got 6 stars. The sheriff, like, eventually, because, like, the military is not that far away.
Right.
So he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. You guys want to do this? We'll do this.
Yeah.
Naturally, the army shows up and they said, "Hey, we're neutral to the cause. We're just here as a defensive measure, or like as kind of a threat to be like, everyone needs to chill the fuck out." And by neutral, I mean that they set up a Gatling gun. They're 2,000 rounds of ammunition and a 12-pound mountain howitzer, threatening the regulators by stating that they would blow the house away if anyone inside fires. So
damn.
Instead of, because like howitzer artillery, it's a lob shot. They literally point this at the building and they're like,
yeah,
do something.
Oh.
Well, I'm thinking too, because even if they're not spot on, they're willing to risk some collateral damage to get you to get some get right. Like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, they have like the first iteration of like automatic gunfire, automatic machine gun. They set that up, and then basically a thing that launches bombs, and they're like, I don't fucking care.
Try. I don't try it right now, dog.
I don't live here. Yeah. This was enough for the majority of the regulators who fled, leaving the ranks to that only about 13 men.
Sure. Okay.
Of these, the fucking 50 plus were like, "Peace out, dude," and they all just left. They just fled, and they didn't even capture these guys. They're like, leave. Just like I was talking about earlier. They just were like, it's easier, just let them go. It's on the same day that Sheriff Pepin just kind of goes, "You know what? Fuck it. And let's go ahead and just burn the bastards out," and just lights the building on fire.
Oh my God.
Calling for the surrender of the men inside. As the fire slowly begins to consume the structure from room to room, Billy looked at McSween, who is said to have like his hands in his face in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And Billy just kind of comes up and grabs him and goes, "We're making a break for it." And calling for volunteers, Billy and a few members of the posse kick open the back door and just start blasting rounds. Just start smoking people. Meanwhile, it is an insane amount of gunfire that's coming out towards them. And they're all missing. And it is true Wild West behavior. Just boom, 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 boom. Just nonstop. And it's been dubbed the Big Killing.
Oh,
the
shit.
Big Killing.
Yeah. The Big Killing.
Not the little one.
Not the little one.
Yeah.
The big one.
So they're having this huge gunfight going boom, 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 boom. Billy doubles back inside, starts reloading, and then McSween, right, Tunstall's friend, is like, "I'm ready to leave." Runs out the front door and just gets fucking eviscerated with bullets. Just done. Just dropped in the doorway. Somehow, through all of this, Billy is able to literally just blast his way out of this situation.
That's insane.
And the most John Wick shit I've ever heard. He comes out and goes boom, 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 and he's just running. And he's just smoking people as he's coming up to him. And he just disappears into the woods, gets across a river, and just disappears. He's just gone. Huh? Escaping death once again. And in the end, a majority of the regulators were dead. He is now once again alone, not knowing if anybody has survived.
Would you say he's Mr. Lonely?
I would say he's Mr. Lonely. In September of 1878, President Rutherford B. Hayes, what I was talking about earlier, removes Governor Axtell from office, citing his less than ideal performance in stopping the violence of Lincoln County. Because you brought my people in it and you fucked it. You didn't even catch the guy you were going for.
That's crazy that he got the attention of Washington. They got a governor removed and all of that. Like that to me is one of those sort of things where if you've gone to such lengths and you've made all of that happening, you better be freaking careful because there's people coming for you.
And he is now like truly sought after, right?
Yeah, this is like pre-FBI days too. So that they were gonna throw anything they could.
Yeah, it's not looking great right now.
No.
The newly appointed governor, because President Hay goes like, Axtell, you're gone. All right, Governor, Lee Wallace, you're the new governor. Hires this guy named Lee Wallace to be governor, and decides the best course of action is to give a proclamation, right? Which is what the last governor did.
Okay.
In this, Wallace issues a proclamation of amnesty for all parties involved in the Lincoln County War, except for those for under current indictment. So, like, unless you're actively in court right now, everyone can just chill the fuck out, and we can just forget that this happened. We're good. Right? This is your one chance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Billy, the murders of Sheriffs Brady and Buckshot Roberts prevented him from actually getting a pardon. So everybody but Billy gets to just kind of walk away.
Everybody hates Billy.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
It's so stupid. I can't focus. That's so dumb. Now on ABC. 8 p.m. Everybody hates Billy. Oh, everybody hates me. Boom, 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 boom. Just fucking shoot people.
Oh my God.
Voiced by Chris Rock.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one.
That's mine. That's mine to address.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's insane. For the next following months, Billy and his remaining posse elude their captors as they kind of scoot around the Lincoln County area. Because he ended up actually like kind of meeting up and finding some members of his posse. They had also fled and escaped and just found him in the woods. And they're like, the boys! And like,
it's the boys!
It's the boys! Yeah, and then so they immediately link back up and start fucking around again.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, they just kind of start scooting around the Lincoln County area, just kind of doing whatever. And
they got worms, or what the fuck are they doing?
They're playing Earthworm. Yeah. Billy, want to play Earthworm?
Yeah, I love to wiggle around in the dirt.
Just think of that Always Sunny bit. It's like, you'd Frank play Nightcrawlers?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, my God,
like,
yes.
It's like, what is that? It's like, well, it's Nightcrawlers. It's like, is the way you lay on the ground and pretend to be worms? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right.
Good, wholesome fun.
Yeah. On February 18th, 1879, the 1-year anniversary of Tunstall's murder, Billy and his posse ride back into the town of Lincoln in the cover of night. But instead of another wicked gunfight, we see peace. Standing in the dark in the middle of the street is Jimmy Dolan and 4 of his men. The two sides of the Lincoln County War just stare at each other for a moment until Billy and Dolan approach one another, shake hands. It is on this dark street in Lincoln where the parties set forth an agreement that there'd be no more killing or testifying against one another, stating that anyone who violated this pact would be killed on sight. As the meeting took place, the men go back to Dolan's home, right? Or like area where he's hanging out at. And they get a tad bit drunk. Naturally, the drunken men needed a lawyer to kind of iron out the finer details of this pact, which seems kind of unnecessary in my opinion. But he was known as Chapman. Unfortunately for Chapman, it's the Old West and people are fucking stupid. During the course of this negotiations, the drunken Dolan is fiddling around with his gun and it accidentally goes off and fucking kills Chapman.
Oh, shit.
Okay. He needed more practice.
Yeah. He's like, I don't do that gun spin thing you do. And just like, boom. Like, oh, fuck. He kills Chapman and everybody's pissed.
Sure.
Because he's like, he's like, if you shot one of us, it'd be like, whatever. Whatever. But he's just this random guy. And they're like, now we're all fucked. Like, you just kind of fucked up the deal for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And so they kind of just were like, all right, well, pull him outside. So they just put him outside. And continue drinking.
Damn.
And then eventually they're like, well, boys, we'll see you later. And they'll just leave. And then eventually the sheriff wakes him the next day and is like, what the fuck? Like, what were you guys doing? And then they were like, it was Billy. Billy shot him.
Oh, man. That's a wild way to break up a bunch of boys.
Yep. Feeling that the shooting
boys ain't very loyal, man. That's pretty bullshit.
Yep. Feeling that the shooting of Chapman would be blamed on him, which it naturally ended up being, Billy wrote the first of many letters to Governor Wallace stating that he knew who killed Chapman, stating that if it wasn't for his indictments against him, that he would have come forward earlier. In this letter to the governor, Billy wrote, quote, I have no wish to fight anymore. Indeed, I have not raised an arm against your proclamation. As to my character, I refer to any citizens, for the majority of them are my friends that have been helping me since all they could. I am called Kid Antrim, but Antrim is my stepfather's name. Waiting for your answer, I remain your obedient servant. So he was very well read.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he just kind of just writes this letter to the governor being like, hey man, I didn't do that, but if we're able to kind of maybe hopefully work out this thing I got going on, I'll be able to, help you solve this case.
Yeah.
And seemingly moved by this case, the Governor Wallace does indeed write back to Billy, telling him that Billy should appear at Squire Wilson's house in secrecy on a specific date and time. Adding to this letter, he says, I have the authority to exempt you from prosecution. If you will testify to what you know, if you could trust Jesse Evans, you can trust me. Politician says this. If you can trust your gang leader, you can trust me. And on May 13th, 1879, cover of night, Billy arrives to Wallace's Casa de Patron, and the men organize their deal.
Okay.
So literally, it's just the three of them. Wallace, it's Governor Wallace, his squire, and Billy. And they come down, they sit down, they start ironing out this deal. And Billy states that, he's willing to testify in open court. This is not that long after the pact. Open court against Jimmy Dolan and the members of his gang. Regarding that the entire Lincoln County war raging from Dolan's corruption, Tunstall's murder, Brady's deceit, and so much more in exchange for all charges being dropped, going back on the deal that he had made with Jimmy Dolan just a month prior.
Wow.
So he comes in and is like, I'm not going to be blamed for any more shit. I haven't shot anybody. Like I guess it's kind of weird. Like he's in the heat of the moment, he's blasting people. But in this, he's like, I didn't kill that guy. I will happily admit that I killed all those rest of those guys.
Yeah.
But I didn't kill that guy. I'm not going to blame for that guy.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a real fascinating in-look into his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm like thinking like that could be a really interesting like remake of like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly if you had showcased what was going down that night and everything that unfolds. Because I don't know how this story concludes, but I can only imagine that it was probably not as clean cut as how it's written.
Yeah, it's incredibly more confusing as it goes on.
Okay.
Because right now it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But towards the end is where it gets very confusing.
Ooh.
It gets very confusing and it's full of conspiracy. So Billy basically agrees to Wallace. He goes, hey, listen, I'll testify against these guys and I'll go into voluntary confinement for the court case. I'll do that. If we can negotiate this deal. Wallace goes, all right, man, deal. We'll do it. Let's do it. And trial starts to approach, and Billy stays at Wallace's Casa de Patron, right? Which is it's like a nice house. It's not really a jail cell. It's like a nice house. And in April of 1879, the trial begins. And Billy takes a stand and starts testifying to the jury. Billy stated the whole story of how the lawyer Chapman was killed. Not only that, but his testimony would lead to more than 200 indictments against 50 men for their crimes related to the Lincoln County War. Dolan and Campbell were indicted on the murder, and Jesse Evans, Billy's former gang leader, was named an accessory.
Wow.
So he fucking turned on everybody.
Yeah. That sounds like a RICO charge if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, I mean, but by this point, you gotta understand, like, he had no fucking tie, especially to Jesse Evans. Jesse was like, dude, I want nothing to do with you, dude.
You're dead to me.
You're dead to me. But in those 200 indictments, only a few would even come close to going to trial, because per the Wallace's order, he was like, hey man, we can just forget about this. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know if it was necessarily him trying to be like, let's get these guys in trouble, but like being like, hey, here's everyone that was involved. Let's all forget about this. But other stuff for those two fuckers, because I hate those guys. You know, like those two guys specifically that killed him. Yeah. Many took the governor's amnesty and were released on rights of habeas corpus, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, literally just bring in Jesse Evans' gang. Like, you guys want to take the deal and just forget about this? Good, cool, bye. And they just did that. But habeas corpus, for those who don't know, requires the government to justify a person's imprisonment by bringing them before a court and demonstrating a lawful basis for their confinement. If the government fails to do so, the court must order the person's release.
Okay.
So, habeas corpus.
Yes.
Fun Latin word. For his testimony, which was kind of a win-win for everyone except for those who brought before the court were acquitted and disappeared. Governor Wallace tells Billy, quote, I will let you go free, pardon in your pockets for all your misdeeds. But once the trial was over, on the initial murder trial, Judge William Reinerson refuses to pardon Billy.
Oh, so he's got that personal vendetta with him. Mm-hmm. He's like,
Yep.
Billy ain't the boy, he ain't the one.
Nope. After waiting for 20 plus days for Wallace to make good on his word, Billy figures out that no one is coming to save him.
Oh ho ho.
So once again, Billy breaks out of his confinement, heads out of Lincoln, escapes once again.
So I recently finished watching this program. It's a little program called Prison Break, and I'm just wondering if he has any connection to Michael Scofield, and if he knows his way out of a prison, especially one in Illinois.
I didn't see that in there, but maybe. But
because everything in Prison Break is absolutely 100% true.
Yes, of course, obviously.
Is your mic off now? Did you turn your mic off?
I don't think so, but possibly I moved to adjust it because it was falling onto my face.
Falling onto your face.
Mm-hmm. Once Billy leaves Lincoln, his whereabouts are seemingly unknown, as he was notorious for not keeping a record, it seemed, because of course he didn't.
Of course not.
And one story told by his friend Henry Hoyt, Billy was said to have traveled to have traveled to Las Vegas at this time.
Okay.
Now, at the time, Las Vegas wasn't exactly like known for having a gigantic pyramid and Criss Angel. It was like a lot of other small towns in the middle of Mojave Desert. It was just a fucking dusty town, right? There's not a lot going on out there. But in this alleged story, it said the kid rides into town one summer night, goes into the saloon, saddles up to a table.
Okay.
And starts sharing this meal with a famous, very famous and notorious Missouri outlaw. You might know him as Jesse James.
Whoa.
I do know that name.
Yeah, and he just sits down and just has a meal with Jesse James. So two of the most notorious outlaws ever just happen to cross paths and have a meal in what would later known as Sin City.
That's
crazy. That'd be the great basis for the Sin City podcast right there. Just outlaws meeting it up, cutting it up, doing what they can.
I just think that I mean, whether or not that's true or not, I like that part of the story.
Yeah.
I think
I love that.
I think that's fascinating. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Of like, yeah, they're not necessarily the best people, but it is also just kind of a cool story of like, just like, kind of do a subtle nod of like, all right, I see you. And like, I know who you are. You know,
Yeah.
there's not a chance these guys don't know who each other are.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
no.
They're both incredibly famous. They've both been in the papers several times by this point.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about like two boys like meeting up who aren't in the same, the same weight class, but they're like, I'm the top of the UFC and everybody's talking about me.
Yeah.
So I'm watching out for you.
Yeah, what's really crazy is that, obviously Jesse James is a little bit older than Billy the Kid.
Sure.
But Billy the Kid is way more notorious
Oh, yeah.
That's
than Jesse
crazy.
James.
Yeah.
So it's just like, now imagine like you're a famous outlaw, you're maybe 25 years old, and then some kid who's like 20, or like 19 walks in and he's the fucking most wanted man in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's just crazy.
That was wild.
During this time, the posse does manage to track down the kid. During this time, a posse does manage to track down the kid and his gang to a ranch between Vegas and White Oaks, where a gun battle soon breaks out. Like I said, I'm going to say that a lot. During the course of the standoff, a local blacksmith named Jim Doyle agrees to assist law enforcement in being a neutral third-party negotiator. Unfortunately, he is killed while entering the house. It is entirely unknown which side shot him, as both sides seem to blame the other. Like, he just kind of was like, all right, I'll do it. Like, enough of this ruckus. And then somebody shoots in the back. I imagine it was probably law enforcement.
Probably.
Just because they're already kind of, they've already kind of done that before. Well, I guess both sides have done that before by this point. But
yeah.
But while that is all pretty unknown where the movements and stuff were, what is known is that Billy's movements after he left Lincoln is that he met up with members of his former crew that I talked about, right? Tom O'Folliard and Charlie Beaudry, right? They meet up together. The group is quick to fall into their old habits of stealing cattle. And during the course of their cattle-related escapade, they stole about 118 heads of cattle from cattle baron John Chisholm, which is another fun Old West name, who was rightfully pissed. He just stole 118 of my cows. Since Billy was ever elusive and it seemed to be next to impossible for him to get caught, Chisholm called upon one of his best, Sheriff Pat Garrett. On top of that, Billy wrote a letter to Governor Wallace pleading his innocence. But instead of Wallace now being like, all right, we're gonna I'm still gonna pardon you or whatever. He issues a $500 reward for the capture and delivery of Billy the Kid to Lincoln County Sheriff.
Oh shit!
Just goes like, we want him. That is it. You have shot your one chance, right? So once Garrett is now elected the new sheriff of Lincoln County, he is very quickly went to work trying to track down the kid, following rumors that he was in Fort Sumner and that Billy had shot a local drunk during an argument. Garrett and his posse rode out to an old hospital, were basically using it as a hunting blind, ready to capture or kill the outlaw once and for all. And it was here, on November 27th, 1880, under the cover of darkness, where our lawmen saw the outlaw for the very first time. Allegedly. Which, I'm saying allegedly, but we'll get to that. It's like, is this the first time he's ever seen him? But I don't know. We'll talk about that in a bit. As the four outlaws rode closer to the hospital, Garrett raised his rifle and shouted, "Halt!" at the frozen, darkened figures, and he immediately fires a round.
Of course, yes. As you do.
Which causes everyone else to shoot. As the outlaws fled, they discovered that they were missing someone. Tom O'Folliard. Leaving their friend to die alone in the snow, the gang quickly skedaddled, discovering a small rock hut to keep shelter in a place called Stinking Springs.
Stinking Springs,
yes.
Sounds like it smells lovely there.
Yeah, I was like, what's the smell like there? We got to figure that one out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the time in America where they just kind of describe, they name a place by describing what it smells like or looks like.
Sure.
It's like Amarillo. You know, it's like, oh, it's fucking yellow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, makes sense. So Stinking Springs, I imagine, smells lovely.
Like a rose.
It smells like roses. This one room, no window rock shelter will be the site of another historic gun battle, as just a short time after their initial battle, Sheriff Garrett and his posse tracked down the gang and the kid. Garrett, who was super confident in his abilities, told his men to wait for his signal, saying, quote, I know Billy the Kid. I know his hat. Wait for my signal. Because Billy wore like a very distinct hat every single time.
Yeah.
Right? So as Pat Garrett and his men lay in wait, they had put some, like, they took their saddle blankets off, and they're literally just laying in the fucking snow, in the dark, waiting for this guy to come out. They observe a man exit the rock shack wearing a hat identical to that hat of Billy's.
With a bunch of holes in it, or?
Well, it had seemed that it was time for Billy to meet his end. At his signal, Garrett and his posse release a hail of gunfire into the outlaw. But it was not the kid who was gunned down, but Charles Beaudry, who just so happened to be wearing a hat very similar to Billy's that day.
Oh, so luck was on his side.
A highly unfortunate fashion day, if you will.
It wasn't on his side, that's for sure.
Yes.
Luck was not on this guy's side.
Somebody cue up. It's not a fashion statement. It's a death wish by My Chemical Romance, please. As Beaudry stumbles forward, he falls in the arms of his killer, Pat Garrett, and begins to speak his final words. He says, I wish, and then he dies. And some historians believe that his intended words were supposed to be, I wish I hadn't worn this stinking hat.
Yeah. I think
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he wished.
I was gonna say, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
As the men had no way out, Garrett and his men decide they're just going to starve the bastards out.
Okay.
After days of no food or water, Garrett is said to have set up a little campfire, and he starts cooking some bacon and beans.
Oh, as you would.
Yeah, telling Billy to come out, trying to lure him to custody, being like, I'll give you something if you come out. You know, all you got to do is just come out and surrender yourself. And he's just like, oh, this is good. And
I know you hungry.
Yeah, and he's doing that. And like a fucking cartoon dog, like just Billy comes out and surrenders himself in custody for the murder of Sheriff Brady. Just immediately he's like, all right, and like I can't do it anymore. And they sit down and they eat their meal and they're like, all right, gotta tie you up, let's go. Throws him back on the horse, start taking him back to Lincoln. In the spring of April 18th, 1881, after just 2 days of testimony, Billy was convicted for the first-degree murder of Sheriff Brady and subsequently was sentenced to death by hanging for May of that year.
Oh,
damn.
No.
But story's not over.
Oh.
Because on April 28th, my birthday, 1881, as the gallows are being built for Billy, Sheriff Garrett advises two guards, J.W. Bell and John Ollinger, that he would be out of town as he was going to be supervising the construction of the death site. At some point in the evening on April 28th, Billy asked Deputy Bell if he could use the bathroom, since there was no indoor plumbing at this time, and the fact that Deputy Bell, was actually quite kind to Billy. The deputy escorts him outside behind the jail to use an outhouse. That's one thing that Billy often talked about, was how kind Deputy Bell was to him. Yeah. Out of the two deputies, Ollinger was known to be an asshole. He was not very nice. But Bell would sit and talk with them as they would eat. But once he was done dropping off his payload, Billy and Bell proceed back in the jailhouse. And as Billy was ahead of the deputy, he produced a pistol and fired a round in the deputy's chest. Which he did it in such a fashion where it was because Bell was coming up the stairs.
Yeah.
Billy draws and he kind of gets this downward angle as if Bell's reaching out to grab the gun. So he gets this, cooks off a round, and it just kind of just goes right through his heart. Just drops him. Boom.
Oh,
shit.
And so he fires off the one round, and Ollinger is across the street at the time at kind of a local eating establishment, and he hears this one round go off. And so he scrambles out the door and starts rushing back to the jail. But Billy was waiting for him with a real nasty surprise. See, like I said, Ollinger hated Billy, right?
Yeah.
He was an asshole through and through. So much so that he actually bought a brand new 10-gauge shotgun just to guard the kid. And he would like clean it in front of him and like load it and unload it and just like, you know, it's a double barrel. Just like crack it. Yeah. And he would just say, he'd basically say the things of like, don't mess around, boy. This will be for you. Like, he just made it known. Like, he's like, I'll just shoot you. I don't care. Like, I don't think we even need the gallows. Made it very clear that he did not like Billy the Kid. So, but as Ollinger is running across the yard towards the jail, he looks up in the second story and he sees Billy leaning out the window with his double barrel. And Billy then cuts him down with his own double barrel buckshot. Just boom, boom, just lays him out.
Whoa.
In a crazy twist of fate. Never even got to fire the gun, but the one time it's fired, it's used against him.
That's crazy.
I'll come back to it because I want to get this right, but there's a specific term of phrase that I feel like is perfect for what you just described.
Okay. With the local law enforcement dead, Billy relaxed a bit. He walked to the front of the courthouse, like on the front steps, as locals interested in the commotion peeked, and begins to make a speech. Still shackled, holding the guns. Billy tells the people of Lincoln, do not interfere, and no one else is going to get hurt. The kid then goes over and grabs a pickaxe that happens to be laying nearby, because of course it's the Old West.
Yeah.
Breaks off his shackles, steals a horse, and flees his eventual fate once more.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I found it. So it's Chekhov's gun. And basically, it's a principle of any element that comes into a story, such as a gun, it will play a role later on. So by him having that and him illustrating it, he gave it this larger-than-life persona because it was like, yeah, you're gonna die by this gun. It's just not the way you think it is.
Yeah. Exactly. And Governor Axtell even said it in his proclamation of being like, those who live by the sword die by the sword.
Exactly. So everything comes back. It's cyclical in a way.
It's very cyclical. Now, you're probably wondering where Billy got that pistol initially, right?
Sure.
Because he didn't have it when he was in the jail. It goes out of the house, comes back, and all of a sudden he has a gun.
He hid it in the shitter.
Oh, smart man. Investigation of the scene showed that Deputy Bell still had his personal firearm, right?
Right.
So it is believed that someone planted a pistol in the outhouse behind the jail. Who, you might ask? Well, let's continue the story, and we'll get to it. Stop asking. Billy was able to avoid capture for months, living off the land and in the shadows, seemingly become a ghost once more. But on the night of July 14th, 1881, Sheriff Garrett and his two best deputies, who probably should have been guarding the kid in the first place, slipped into Fort Sumner as they heard rumors that a woman by the name of Paulina Maxwell was pregnant with the kid's child, or the kid's kid, if you will.
Oh.
Yes. So near midnight, the men enter the gate of Maxwell's house and stand on guard on the porch. And in a moment that I still find quite odd, Sheriff Garrett enters the home uninvited, goes to the room of Pete Maxwell, and sits on his bed. Mind you, it's pitch black.
Yeah.
Sits on his Maxwell's bed and just kind of goes, "Hey, have you seen the kid?" You know, just starts asking him questions. Garrett's like, or fuck Maxwell's like, "What? Like, who the fuck's in my house?" And as they're sitting there and they're just kind of quietly whispering, Garrett sees a shadowed figure enter the room.
Oh.
And in his hand is a pistol.
Okay.
And so Garrett gets real quiet and just kind of holds his breath. And all Garrett can do is listen as the figure speaks and goes, "Quines?" Which, who is it? Because Billy was actually, one thing I didn't mention is that Billy is very fluent Spanish.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so Maxwell whispers to Garrett and goes, "Él it's him." And Garrett, using his quick reflexes, draws his pistol and fires 2 rounds into the subject. Boom, boom.
Oh, shit.
Billy the Kid was officially dead.
Oh, man.
The following day, Billy is promptly buried. But the biggest question of all, was it actually Billy the Kid?
Yeah?
Let's back it up. Remember how I spoke of the pistol that Billy recovered prior to his escape?
Right.
And how it must have been planted? You talked about being in the shitter, right?
Yeah.
Who could possibly have a motive for this, let alone being able to get close enough to the jail to do it?
Yeah.
Some speculate that it was none other than Pat Garrett, the sheriff.
Oh.
Now, let's ask the question. Why would the sheriff travel far away from the jail where his suspect's at to go oversee something that a lower-ranking member could do? Right?
Yeah.
Seems kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
Very convenient timing. In further claims, some had said that years ago, when Billy started learning how to work with cattle and work on ranches,
Yeah.
that he had worked on the ranch of Pete Maxwell, right?
Oh.
Which is why Pat Garrett's going in to meet Maxwell in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And that on that ranch, years ago, there was two cowboys that were working side by side. That'd be Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
Oh, it's all about who you know.
And on top of that, it would be a convenient meeting spot for the two to meet and discuss their plans, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And on top of that, even more layers, in the late 1940s, a man by the name of Brushy Bill claimed that he was in fact Billy the Kid. It is said that he held intimate knowledge of the Lincoln County War in details that could be only Billy the Kid would know.
Oh, my goodness.
In this story that has since been discredited quite a bit, but I still find it quite interesting. Not only that, but there is no death certificate, which is highly unusual.
That is pretty unusual.
Right?
Yeah.
Even more so, there's a great flood that happens a few years later and washes all the alleged bones of Billy away. There's no DNA to confirm that it was actually him. Even more, we're gonna dive into this because I got really into conspiracy land.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? Paulita Maxwell, right, has a kid with Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Right.
And some were like, oh, so he set him up, have him come there. But on the night of the actual shooting, right, guy comes in, Garrett shoots this guy. He comes outside, he goes, I got him, I got the kid. There's two guards out front. How the fuck did they miss him, right, coming in?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the guard goes you got the kid? Like, yeah, I got the kid. And they go in and they go up and they're like, that's the kid? Like the dead guy on the ground. And Garrett's like, yeah, that's for sure the kid. And the guard just goes or the other deputy goes are you sure? Like, are you positive? And Garrett goes, well, yeah, no, that's the kid. Was unsure if he actually got the kid.
If it's not the kid, who the hell is this guy that I shot?
We're going to say it's the kid for kid's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
So in the end, did Garrett and Billy set up someone to be killed in his place for the $500 reward I talked about? Did Garrett plant the gun? Did Billy survive and escape to live a full life? Is he just another ghost in a land full of old stories that will never be told?
Wow.
One thing that's also really fun is that's our story. But one thing that's also really fun is that during the 40s, before Brushy Bill died, they actually got a bunch of people that were involved in the Lincoln County War into one room to do a big interview with all these people. And they said that Brushy Bill came in and he was sitting down next to all these lawmen, and he said he started sweating and started getting like really nervous and was like, I gotta leave, and just left.
Oh my gosh.
Because he said like the reporters talked about like people just like staring at him like, that's fucking Billy. Like it's, and the photo comparison of him side by side, it is pretty weird.
So how old, like for me to understand, how old would he have to have been if it was like the 1940s? Would he be like 70s, 80s?
80s, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, like, it's not like he was like a guard at Auschwitz or something. What are they gonna do to him?
Yeah, they're not gonna just be like, well, you stole a horse and shot some people, we gotta kill you now.
Yeah,
you know,
like by then, I don't even think they were really like hanging. I mean, people were still getting hanged, but,
Yeah.
but not Billy the Kid.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, let's think about like during the it was it was during the 40s, 50s, or whatever it was. They had like the last remaining members of the Civil War, and they did like a parade with them. You know?
That's crazy. That's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy, and then you're like, what the fuck, dude? You know, and it's like people like in like their Confederate garb, and they're like fucking 90, and like.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, that's crazy. So I mean, I imagine if they would have just able to confirm that he was Billy the Kid, that people would have been like, whoa, that's nuts.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, even
weird.
Even still, like just like thinking like you're like at like a veterans of like foreign wars. You've got some like Confederate guy, some World War I guy, and some guy from like World War II. And then like Billy the Clit.
Billy the Clit.
That was a Freudian slip. No,
that's why we can never find him.
Billy the Kid is like the guest speaker. I'd be like, are you fucking with me right now?
Yeah, no.
Billy the Kid, like, how is that guy still alive?
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible story. It's like I whether or not Brushy Bill was actually Billy the Kid or not, I don't know. It seems to be a lot of people were saying like, no, it wasn't him. He died in the middle of the night. Pat Garrett shot him, but I think they probably just were like, because they had because Maxwell had a lot of people working for him.
Yeah,
that were like other like migrants.
Yeah.
Right.
And they said that like one of the housekeepers was like, oh, they shot the kid, and then like the groundskeeper or like the groundskeeper came in and just like picked up Billy's body and like wrapped it. And then just carried it outside and put it into like a shed. And then the next day they just dug a hole and buried him outside.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
You live fast, you die hard, and sometimes you're just buried in a hole.
Thus is life.
Thus is life.
Is that your Instagram bio?
Yes. My Instagram bio is live fast and die in a hole. Swipe right, please.
Oh man, I think we might need to make some merch and say live fast, die in a hole.
Dude, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that.
That's so funny.
But did you all have fun with Billy the Kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was an incredibly odd and fascinating story. When I initially researched it, I was like, we'll be able to tell a fun cowboy story. That sounds kind of fun. And then I was like, what the fuck? There's just so many like just like so many turns.
Yeah.
And even the story I told, if a historian listens to this, they'd be like, well, actually, there's a lot of problems with that. Because nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows actually what happened. Like throughout everything. They know you shot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
That part we know.
I mean, like the other thing is too is because you spend so much time just like trying to be on like the down low and whatnot, like just trying to just navigate that life as it is. To have an accurate account of things is like trying to get like a serial killer to be like, okay, I did actually kill this chick in 98.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to think about it because it wasn't like my greatest moment. I definitely pulled a 2 when I was trying to go for a 7, but you know, they die all the same.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's incredibly out of pocket, but very, very funny and true. You know, it's kind of like I attributed that to like Gacy being like, Gacy, we found 33 boys in your house. And he's like, no, you didn't. You know, it's like, yeah, we did.
You only found like 25.
It's like, I'm just joshing a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was very fun. And if you enjoyed it, glad you did. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, everything. HGO Podcast at HGO Podcast. And if you want to follow me, or if you want to send us an email, send us more hate mail, you can. HGO Podcast, HGOPodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to send me hate mail directly, you can at I Hunt the Haunted on Instagram and TikTok and Twitch. And I'll pass it off to Taylor.
Hi. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Lunar Thrill. That's all I got. That's all I'm active on. I occasionally, sometimes, possibly, maybe, stream. And that is the same handle on Twitch, which is just Lunar Thrill. You can also follow our dog, Spirit the Turv, on words on Instagram. If you want updates,
Pup dates, if you will.
Pup days.
usually she's sleeping. That's the update.
And pass it off to Billiam.
Yes, I'm Mr. Bill Bernard. That's the name. That's the game. And I'm Thriller Bill on Snap as well as TikTok. TikTok is what I use the most. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, but I really got to curate those. But yeah, Thriller Bill, where we keep things fun and thrilling. Thank you for having me, and I'll throw it back to everybody else.
Great. Bill, welcome to the HGO family.
Welcome.
You filled a very Marty-sized hole, very large Marty-sized hole, very large.
Hey, living fast, filling holes.
I just want to emphasize, it's a very large hole that he filled. Very large. Okay.
I'm a large man. I am a large man. So I'm glad to know that I'm filling the holes that need to be filled. And I
just wanted to call Marty fat. Sorry. But remember to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And Bill, give us our tagline for the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, haunts, graves, and omens. Well, we'll keep it real spooky with you. And hopefully this Bill the adult is living up to the name. And we're keeping it fun. That's the game.
Yee-haw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. All right, bye.